Today, we're going to break down exactly how your attention becomes money. We'll look at the best case for this system, the strongest case against it, and what the actual research says can help you get back in the driver's seat.
So let me just ask you a quick question. What is the single most valuable thing you own? I'll give you a hint. It isn't your house, it's not your car, and it's definitely not your savings. It's something you give away, probably for free, every single day.
That's right. You're handing over the raw material for a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And understanding how that material is mined, well, that's the key to navigating the world we live in now. Think about it. Every time you use a free service, like social media or a search engine, you've got to remember that old saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. The real deal happening is you trading your focus for their service. Your time, your clicks, your views, they all get bundled up and sold to advertisers. That, in a nutshell, is the engine of the attention economy.
Now, this isn't just some random thing that happened. It's actually a formal field of study called captology, a term from Stanford researcher B.J. Fogg. It is literally the study of how computers can be used as persuasive technologies. And believe me, its principles are baked into almost every app you use. Losing hours to scrolling? That's not an accident. It's by design.
So, how does this persuasion engine actually work? Well, it basically operates on two different levels. There's the big picture goal, and then there are all the tiny little steps designed to get you there.
Think of it this way. Macrosuasion is the final destination, the big overall goal. Maybe it's a good one, like an app to help you quit smoking. Or maybe it's a commercial one, like getting you to open that app every single day. Microsuasion, on the other hand, is every single turn-by-turn direction. It's all the tiny little pings, points, and sounds that keep you on that path.
You know who has absolutely mastered microsuasion? Video game designers. Take a game like Warcraft 3. You are constantly getting these little rewards. That satisfying sound when you beat an enemy, a little shower of gold, a new power when you level up. Every single one is a tiny persuasive nudge, pushing you toward one macro goal. Just keep playing. And this all feeds into something called the engagement loop. This is the engine that runs pretty much every major platform. It starts with a trigger, a notification pops up, that prompts an action. You click. That click leads to a reward, a like, a new photo, a funny video. That feels good, so you invest a little more time or data, which, surprise, sets up the next trigger. It's a simple, powerful cycle, and it's why you can open an app to check one little thing and then look up a half hour later wondering where the time went. But look, this system isn't automatically evil. In fact, there's a really strong case to be made for persuasive tech being a powerful tool for good. When you aim these techniques at the right goals, they can be incredibly helpful. Fogg himself argues that the best use of this tech is to help us achieve our own goals. Think about a fitness tracker or a heart rate monitor. They use all these little nudges to make it easier to track your progress, which in turn motivates you to keep going. They're persuading you to do something you already wanted to do.
And check this out. This is a powerful example of macrosuasion being used for public health. The HIV roulette simulation lets people explore the consequences of risky behavior in a totally safe virtual space. It persuades by showing, not telling. This lets people learn from simulated mistakes instead of real ones, which can be literally life-saving.
Okay, but with that kind of power, there's obviously a flip side. The exact same techniques that help us build good habits can be used to exploit our weaknesses. And that raises some really serious ethical questions. This is where the line between persuasion and, well, coercion gets really blurry. For instance, there's a technique called tunneling. Ever install a piece of software and it feels like you're on a one-way street just clicking next, next, next without any easy way to opt out or go back? That's tunneling. It can guide you toward giving up personal data without you really making a conscious choice.
And this right here shows you just how dangerous these techniques can be, especially for vulnerable users. It's a mock-up that shows how beloved characters could create a fake emergency to trick a child into giving up their home address. It's a really chilling example of how trust can be weaponized.
So, with the stakes this high, what does the research actually tell us? I think it's crucial to be really clear about what we can measure in a lab, what we can infer from behavior out in the wild, and what we, frankly, still just don't know. So let's break this down. In a controlled lab setting, we can measure principles like reciprocity. And yeah, people will actually do a favor back for a computer that helped them. Then there's what we infer from real-world behavior. For instance, some drivers see those speed monitoring signs not as a warning, but as a high-score challenge.
But then you have this big column of things we just don't know yet, like the cumulative long-term effect of being exposed to these designs day in and day out for years. So, given all that, the key isn't to just abandon technology. It's to become a more conscious user. And the research points to a few concrete actions for both the people using these platforms and, just as importantly, the people who are building them. For us, the users, it really comes down to awareness. First, just try to recognize the goal. Ask yourself, what is this app trying to get me to do right now? Second, see if you can spot the technique. Is this an engagement loop? Am I being tunneled into a choice? And finally, just evaluate the trade. Is what I'm getting right now worth the attention and data that I'm giving away? And for the creators, the source material suggests a pretty clear ethical responsibility. 1. They need to proactively think about how their designs could be misused or cause harm they didn't intend. And 2, they need to design for transparency, make it obvious what's an ad and what's content, and be upfront about the biases that are built into their systems. Okay, so let's boil this all down. 1. Digital platforms are built on persuasive technology designed to capture our attention. 2. These tools can be used for good things, like health and fitness, but they carry real risks of manipulation and harm. And 3. The most powerful first step you can take to reclaim your focus is simply awareness of the goals, the techniques, and the trade-offs. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. In your own life, what's the single biggest thing stealing your attention? Is it a specific app, the algorithm working behind the scenes, or is it just your own habits and defaults?